Okay, welcome back to Watercolors with Wendy, Drunken Aunt Wendy Paints. It is 2024, and I have been exceedingly sick. So if my voice sounds terrible, I do apologize. If I cough the whole time, I do apologize. I've got lots of water. We're going to see how that helps and works out. Um, let's get foxy. Sounds like a plan. Let's have a foxy new year and just do some fun fox paintings. So there's these weird little curly cues. You don't have to put those in if you don't want to. It's just kind of a thought I was having. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. As of right now on our palette, we have orange and turquoise blue. I have some black that I think I'm going to use, but I can't guarantee it. It's on the palette. These are all Dr. P.H. Martin's um, Radiant Concentrated Watercolors. And then I have some grass green because I wanted to. As always, there's going to be some bleed proof white at the end so we can touch things up. But I was thinking this fox is really pretty and exciting. Let's give it some uh, vibrant green eyes. I think that sounds fun. Um, you have the outline, you can go ahead and get it sketched in. I didn't do these little areas around the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and add those. Just give it a little bit more dimension. I think that'll make it a little better. I don't know. This is a new year. I was feeling foxy this week. So we're going to do some foxy paintings and we're going to see what happens. This one could end up being an epic mess. It's okay. We're just going to play with it and we're going to see how it works out. And I may not end up posting this. So it's all good. I To start with, I know I sketched in those eyes like I was going to do them first, and I thought I was going to do them first, and then I changed my mind. So to start it with, we're going to use a great big brush. This is a 10. I get it wet, and let's zhuzh up our background a little bit. We're gonna not really touch the fox right now. It's okay. This stuff's gonna come out into the background, but let's just add some water out in here, outside the fox. And once again, I am starting on the right, even though I am right-handed, and I will end up with my hands in this. This is just how life works with me. So I'm just kind of futzing around and getting water. Can't super see, but we're not being too particular. We're just throwing some water down. Um, and then like basically on top of the tail and up. And we're gonna just kind of lay down some color and see what happens. I'm gonna tap the brush dry just a little bit, and we're gonna start with the orange. And it is just orange. And we're just going to drop this in and just see what happens. We want this color to just kind of move on its own. And this is a very yellow orange. We may have to get some red and add that to our palette. I just grabbed some water and now I'm just kind of adding that to this and letting it spread to the water I put out on the paper. Going a little crazy with these brush strokes, just letting it work and move out on its own. We want it kind of just there. It doesn't need to be dark. It doesn't need to be crazy. It's just a little wash of color to go behind. I know I don't normally do backgrounds, so this is a little freaky for me. Don't worry, I'm a little freaked out too. And we're just going to soften that one up and just letting that water do what water does and spread it out as it wants. All right. Now, this other side, I've decided this side is going to be a little darker. So let's just add some water. Yeah, my brush still has some orange in it. It's okay. This orange is really, really yellow. So we are probably going to have to adjust. We're going to do some little swirls like Again, it's water. Sometimes it helps when your water has a little bit of a tint to it so you can see where you've put it. We're going to just kind of swoosh. Again, we're just throwing down some color. And so the opposite of yellow is blue, or opposite of orange is blue. So let's grab some of this turquoise blue and let's drop it in over here and we'll make this the darker side of the fox. Just kind of, oh, see, this is blooming way better than the other side did. And I'm just kind of dropping in the colors and letting the water do what it wants. I'm going to tap it in some water and add a little bit more. Bring this in a little closer to the ear. But this might be white. It's okay. It is all right. We have bleed proof white to add in where we need to if necessary. All right. So that's a nice, fun, yellowy area. Let's kind of mix them in together up in here so there's not just this random transition. Now I'm getting water out of the brush and I'm just blending these two colors together just a little bit. And we're going to get some of the orange. And we're going to drop it down right in under here. We're just going to let those work together and swoop. And orange and blue, since they're complementary colors, when they mix, they're going to turn brown. That's okay. Foxes have a bit of a brown to them. It's totally fine. I don't know how much brown we're going to get with this bright yellow paint, but that's okay. So let's soften it out a little bit. Yeah, I realize I sound like I swallowed a frog. My voice is terrible. I am so very sorry. Okay, so that's like a fun background. Add in a little bit more of the orange over here. And let's do a little bit more of the orange. Oh, yeah, that's really pretty. Right in here. And again, this is not a realistic portrayal of a fox. So you don't have to be perfect. In fact, it's probably better if you're not. But there we go. We have a background. And I know there's swirlies and circles and stuff. We're going to let that dry before we go in and do the swirlies and the circles and stuff. Um, so while that's drying, hey, let's work on the eyes because that's what I would like to work on. I feel like when I do these paintings, I spend all this time on everything else, and then I work on the eyes, and then I think I messed up the eyes. So then I think I've destroyed the painting. So I think it would be better for us to just kind of work on the eyes now, get the feeling of the eyes and maybe the nose done, and then we can move on to adding in other things. But we have our eyes done, so we have the feeling of our painting. I realize that was a whole lot of rambling. That is not the color I want. So now I have a 000 brush. Again, it just needs to be small. Doesn't need to be crazy little. It's just what I have available. And let's just dot in. And if you get your hand in the paint, it's fine. Let's give it some green eyes. Why? Because. And I know that looks very, very green, like it's a very big eye. I did make them a little bigger than they probably should have been, but that's okay. We can fix that with black and tone it down and all of that junk and jazz. So it's all good. I'm going over that whole part. There we go. All right, and then you want to get a little bit of paper towel. I'm a huge paper towel fan. If you haven't painted with me before, we use paper towels, we use sponges, we use all sorts of things because it's fun. And we're going to just kind of tap this a little bit to lighten up that color. See? And just do the other side. There we go. We can go back in and darken around it if we need to, but now we've kind of pulled up some of it, so we have an idea. Now those have to dry. So let's move on to the nose, which is in black. And again, I have my little brush. I probably don't need this delicate of a brush for this part, but that's just what I've got handy, so that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to do the back here of the nose and then this front part. I know that sounds weird, but trust me on this. And the nostrils we'll have to do last because they are the darkest part. So once again, we're just kind of getting this shapes down, blocking in some color. Okay, I'm going to rinse this brush. I'm going to dab it on the paper towel. And now I'm going to get rid of all these extra little water bubbles that come down the metal part. I always get water because I dipped my brush in too far, I think. So I always have to dip the water off of here or I get these random water drops, which we don't want. Okay. So now I have a fairly dry brush and I'm going to start pulling this back. Just like that to give it that shape of the nose. So now the nose comes out and then the very front of it came down and we're all good. And we're going to grab another, you want clean piece of paper towel. You don't want it where you put the green in or it's just going to be weird. So just trust me on that again. And you can get another piece. I don't know why I'm trying to grab the same one. They told you I was going to cough. I'm so sorry. let's tap down here and lighten this up just a teeny bit. There we go. I know you can barely tell, but that lightened it up quite a bit. And then we can clean up these lines, which I'm going to get the brush wet and it's just going to be slightly damp. And we're going to clean up these lines right up in here. Okay. And we have pulling that out for just a little bit of the mouth. So there we go. We have a fox just kind of staring at us. So let's do our handy dandy is that dry test, and it's dry. So let's get some of our black. And you just want a little bit. You're using your your tiny brush again. And what we're going to do is we're going to outline around these eyes just a little bit. The lighter the pressure, the thinner the line. And for some reason, I am really putting a lot of pressure on this today, even though it is a tiny brush. Okay. Once again, I did the wrong side first when I shouldn't have. So let's turn it upside down and do the other eye. And try to use as little pressure as possible. Get little basic baby lines. Well, that didn't work, but that's okay. My brush control is not super great today. I blame all the cold medicine. All right, and then we're gonna give him some pupils with just the black that's already there. So we have pupils and very lightly outside of that eye. Now everybody's going to pause and we're going to find out what my husband wants as he's texting. Okay, I realize that looks really heavy, but it's all put in before anything else. So it's gonna look a little heavy. Um, that's just the nature of the beast. And I think when we lighten it up, it's gonna look a little bit better. Lighten it up, I mean, when we add in all of the other stuff. Okay, so I think our background is starting to be a little dry. So why don't we put in the edges of the fox ears? Foxes have dark edges to their ears. So I'm tired of that brush. Let's grab a 2. That's what I got. Or is that, what is that, a 6? Let's grab a 6. Hopefully it's charming that I don't plan these out ahead of time. And I mean, I sketch and I have an idea, but when we paint, we just paint. All right, so we're going to get the black and we have our 6. And we are going to add in, I'm going to make the insides of the ears dark and then put in some pressure and flip it up. Okay. And this is starting to look a little bit more like a fennec fox and a real fox. And once again, I did the right side before the left side. So this time we're going to go up into that ear and we're going to push down and then we're going to pull it up to get a smaller, thinner line. Okay, so those are our ears at this point. Now it's not just the tips like that; it goes around. So let's give them some nice foxy ears. You're foxy. Let's do the other side. And this really is like a stylized version of a fox. It doesn't have to be perfect, thank God, right? And I know it's gone into some of the drawing and some of the everything else. It's fine. Um, we're gonna paint over it. I know watercolor. You should start with the lightest colors. Yeah, and put this on last. Yeah, I didn't do that. Let's give it little wispies to kind of match all these other little wispies. So I just want these ears to be a little fuzzy. Now I know there's a V in the outline. That's just for dark colors later, so it's totally fine. Let's do some of this. We're kind of letting the brush just do its thing, and we're trying not to be too deliberate. This is we're going to we're working on relaxing and releasing and giving control away, which is not my strong suit. All right, let's get some of this orange, and I think I am going to I'm adding some Scarlet to my palette because this orange is so yellow. I swear I got the orange and not the amber yellow, but so this is 5A, it's Scarlet. So we can just use that to warm up the colors of our foxes a little bit. So we've got the orange, and then we're going to put some of the Scarlet into it, and that's just going to darken us up just a little bit, which I like. All right, let's work on this side of our nose here, and we're just going to kind of put in some brush strokes. Okay, and then now we're just going to start playing with pushing down and pulling it up. Let's get us back up in here. I know, it looks a mess at this point. Let's trust the process and we're going to see what happens, all right? I would say leave a little space next to the black unless you really want that to spread. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the tip and putting it down and then pulling it, and it's giving me a nice like feathery shape up into this ear. And we got some of the black in, and it's okay. So let's go back to that combo color of the orange and the scarlet, and let's do it on the other side. So we're going to take the tip down, push it down, and then pull it up. And if you're like me, you're probably like, one side of your painting is always going to look better than the other side. It's like right-handed, left-handed. I don't know why. I can always do it way better on one side than another. But we are just working on getting some colors in and getting in some shapes, and I promise it'll look better. Okay, so let's go around these eyes. And again, let's use the brush and the belly of the brush and pull it up and kind of wisp it out into the edges out here. And we can go right up next to that black and do that. That's gorgeous. And again, I did the wrong side. So your paper turns, so feel free to turn your paper. So I'm taking the tip down, going around, and then I'm flicking it out. Adding more paint as I feel I need it. So now we have the shapes around the eyes. I want this part down here to be fairly, like it's white, but we're gonna do blue. I know that sounds weird, but that's what we're gonna do. So we've done that around the eyes. So let's do another one where we just flick it out. There we go. And right up to that ear. This is just a very loose representation of a fox. If it doesn't look super foxy, that's fine. So let's keep doing that on the other side. We want to press down, pull around, and flick it out. And I'm going to pull some down in here like this. And give you one more that kind of goes like that. There we go. I love it. I know it's weird. Just go with it. Let's add some more right in here. Just while we have it. Have the color on our brushes. And let's work on its tail a little bit. Again, it is the Scarlet and the orange. And we have these big swoops, so let's just push it down and lift it up. Right, I'm needing a little bit more water, so you can see it's skipping right through here. So I can fix that by just adding in some water, or adding some more water to the brush. And do that. Whoosh. Okay, and so now we're just going to use the tip of the brush to add in a little bit more of these shapes and this foxy tail. You don't want to fill it all in, leave some spaces. So we're going to add some colors here. And if it's fading out, that's okay. By using the orange and the red, we get a lot of dimension within this color, which is really fun and cool. All right. Let's move on to some other part of this before it looks completely insane. So we're going to get some of the blue, the turquoise blue. We're going to put it off to the side and get lots and lots of water. You really want to lighten that up. So it's an almost barely there color. And if you got a little bit of your orange in there, it's going to make it a little bit of a green color. It's okay. In nature, whites are very rarely ever actually white. So I am lighting this color by adding water because that's what I do for this kind of pigment, and testing it on my paper towel. So underneath the chin is going to be the darkest spot. So let's test under the chin first to see how dark this is coming out. It's not too bad. If your brush is too wet that you're not seeing your strokes, then just dab it on a paper towel. Oops. Oh well, it's okay. We will just make this a little bit yellowy up in here. We want it light. We're going to go back through with the Bleed Proof White and add some strokes to really accentuate that. So it's okay. So let's come in over here and let's finish up these ears. I wanted a little bit of the blue into the ears, kind of swooping it into, and my brush is too wet, into. And let's try it on the other side. Hey, I'm going to dab my brush clean because it got some of the black in it from whenever I was doing that. That's okay. And let's hit some of these spots right up in here. We're going to start just sweeping this blue. And if it hits some of the yellow, it's okay. Actually, it just gives us a nice, fun color combos that we didn't have to do any work mixing. We just have a wet brush and a little bit of that color, and it's doing a great job for us, I'd say. Okay. So we also like this color, and I think it needs to go into the tail. Fox's tails are dark at the end, so let's pull some up through here and just add it throughout. I know you guys are thinking I'm crazy. I think I might be crazy right now too, but that's okay. We're just adding this in. And by using just a few colors, you're actually tying everything together, even if it seems like you're like just doing something very, very weird. Okay, I'm almost out of that light blue, so we'll just be done. I'm going to tap my brush dry, and I'm going to get some of the turquoise blue, and I am not going to lighten it at all. And I am going to really start putting it in right here underneath the chin. And since it's wet, look at how lovely that is fading and spreading out. And I can clean up the lines in a minute, but that really gives me a nice pretty shadow, and that's what I'm looking for. It's really hard to be loose and free with this and just let the water do what it wants to do and not try to fix it or change it. So if you're having trouble, just take a step back. It's fine. I understand. Let's put some dark where we're just coming out of the body into the tail. Okay, and now let's darken the tip of this tail. So I am getting some of the blue and I am putting the teeniest touch of black into that to give it kind of a navy look. And we're going to just add some dark spots at the tip of this tail. And this part would be in shadow, so we're just going to kind of shadow it up. Okay, I realize that looks a little weird. Let's just fluff it a little. By fluff it, I mean we just go in and we take the edges and we soften them a little bit to look like the tip of the tail. And sometimes you want to pull the color up through. It's your painting. If you hate this, don't do it. I'm having fun with it, so I'm gonna, but you do not have to. Okay, I know this looks like a crazy, crazy thing. It's okay. All right, so we're gonna let the tail and everything dry for a minute, and let's go ahead and add in like our swirls and stuff. And for that, I'm just gonna use a pen. Um, I think a pen is gonna give me more control. So I have a black pen, and I'm just gonna do. I don't have to follow my lines exactly. I can just do whatever I really feel like here. And then another one here. And if the lines underneath show, that's kind of cool too. All right, so we want some coming up in and out of here, out of the ears. So we've got, oh, there we are. All right, that's helping. Now we're going to take the medium brush, which I think was a 6, and we're going to put some dots in. We're going to try to make these full color dots, and we're going to try to be very, very careful with it. But I have the green that I used in the eye, and I'm going to just come straight down and push it and kind of make it a more of a rounded shape. There. It's going to dry. It's okay. I'm going to rinse the brush. We're going to get some of the green or the blue, I'm sorry. And we're going to just make dots. Now this would be a really cool thing to see what happens when I mix the Scarlet with the Turquoise Blue, because we have those colors on here. So let's see what happens when we add a little bit of purple to the mix. I have Scarlet and I have Turquoise Blue, and that is a very ugly purple. Probably don't want to use that color. But we'll put more dots. They can all be of different sizes. You can also just drop a water droplet down where you want your dots to go. And then add the color to it. So let's put a little drop of blue into there. And we'll put blue into that one. It'll spread out. And it'll dry. Make this one green. Let's make that one green in there too. Here we go. And if you don't like the way your droplets are working, then just kind of mess with them a little bit. All right, but I do think we need to add that orange and purple color because I made it into this tail just a little bit. So I'm going to just add some little dark in here. And really, I just want to darken this part that goes right into the face. Okay. All right. Let's get some bleed proof white. And a two, no, what is this one? I don't know what this one is. This size brush, it's what I got. And I like this one. All right. So bleed proof white. I have not cleaned the water. It's okay. It's going to give me some fun things. It's all right. You want this brush, and you want a lot of water in your bleed proof white. Okay. Now we're going to just add in some highlights, and it's going to make a huge difference. So let's just add in a little bit right here. And then we can add little fluffy shapes that look like fur. You don't want to cover up everything you've done, but you can definitely add in some highlights. So under here is going to be whiter. So we're just going to push down and do fur. And here, I don't care if the brush is a little dry. it gives it more texture that way. And we want to do that over here. So under the eye, it's still going to be orange right by the eye, but let's lighten it a little bit right here on the side of the nose. And remember with this, you want to push down and pull up, and that's going to give you a lot of shape. And we'll bring it down here into this. So see, it's white, but it's not so perfectly white that it like takes away all the work that we did previously. I'm just kind of putting in strokes that look like fur. And we need to clean this area up right in here where we just kind of didn't do a whole lot. So let's put some paint down, and that because of the way this paint works, this paint will pull the paint around it into it, and it gives a little bit more cohesion. Okay, and then we want to do under here. Yeah, there we go. And I know we still haven't finished those nostrils. That's okay. Let's get a little bit of Bleed Proof White real quick and give us some highlights in those eyes. I think that's going to help. And I'll highlight in the eye. Yep, that helps a lot. I want to do a swoop right here. And I want to do another one right here. May have to get the bigger brush for that part. Okay, so we've lost a little bit of his face, and that's okay. We can fix that. Let's give little teeny tiny flicks for eyebrows. So we're going to just use the tip of the brush and just do a little bit right in here. Same with this side. You won't see him as much because the ear goes right down in there. Okay. All right, we do need to finish up around the mouth and the nose. That's still a little wet, so we don't want to mess with it just yet. We need some whiskers. Whiskers can be done with your black pen. They're going to come out of the sides like right here, and just go for it. Turn your paper if you need to. That's why we have paper. And maybe I will finish this part with a pen. Go. That's with a pen. Now we're going back to my teeny tiny brush, and we're doing straight black. And we are making sure we don't have too much on the brush, and we are filling in those nostrils. Try to make it look a little even. There you go. You can do more spatter if you want. You can do a white spatter, which I think will look really pretty. So I'm getting the big brush and the white paint. And I'm going to spatter over here on this side. And spatter over here. Just, it kind of ties it all together. And I think we need another big brush stroke. Don't forget to sign it. And if your paintbrush or your pen is dirty from using it when the paint was wet, it happens. So there you have a fun, fancy, stylized fox. We will see you next time when we make something that's maybe not quite so crazy. I hope you guys had a good time. I feel free to go back through and do any detail work that you like, which in my case will be like fixing these circles, but you don't need to watch me just go around and do that. Oh, another thing I didn't even think of. We put that such dark colors down, but we have paper towel so we can pull this up out of these circles. And that actually helps it quite a bit. Well, Happy New Year. Welcome back. I hope everybody had fun. And that's what this is all about. Thanks. Bye.